Since I resumed duty as the HR director of the Wiki, there are a number of issues that I have observed, which I think needs attention. The most critical of all of them is dismissing employees, the method we use in dismissing employee. 4 days after I resumed duty here, I was confronted by one of the supervisors of the factories. And then he wanted me to fire one of his employees. The reason which he gave was that the employee was talking back to the supervisor. His concern was that if this employee is not fired, it's going to stand as a bad example to others to do the same, and that might cause mutiny, making the supervisor to lose his power. When I asked about documentation for this dismissal, he laughed and said documentation is the duty of HR. And when I further asked him if there were warnings, either verbally or written, given to this employee previous before now, he said no. And that and Dohiki, which operates in the state of Illinois, is a state of employment at will, and that he can fire the employee anytime which he wishes. And that was a concern for me when he told me this. The employment at will doctrine is a legal doctrine which states that an employment relationship may be terminated by the employer or employee at any time and for any or no reason as long as no laws are violated. Now, the employment at will doctrine is applicable, but there are certain instances where that law is not applicable because that doctrine is really not straight. And there are certain laws that makes it very difficult to apply this doctrine. And those laws are labor laws, contract laws, and civil rights laws. And then if Dohiki is firing his employees based on the employment at will, they might be putting the company into risk. An employee can file an unlawful dismissal suit against the company, and that might make the company pay a lot in terms of back pay, benefits, and sometimes legal fees, which is very high. So as a result of this, the company needs to address this issue very quickly so that we don't fall into having a legal suit against being filed against an employee. So I decided to design 4 solutions by which we can apply to solve this problem. Number one is develop an employee handbook. An employee handbook needs to be looked instantly, quickly. In the employee handbook would be the condition of service of the company, what is expected of its employee. Each employee, when they join the company, will be given this handbook and they can read it and be acquainted with what the policies and rules and regulations are and are liable to make sure that they keep it. Solution number 2, identify and document every issue. If an employee is having any issue with the company, the supervisor or the manager of that employee needs to call that employee and then address that issue. And then give that employee a verbal warning. If that employee persists in that same behavior and attitude, that same manager and supervisor can call that employee and then address that issue again and then give them a written warning. In so doing, the company can keep a trail of activity of that employee in terms of violation. And so that way that can keep in check. The company can make reference to that documentation anytime in the future when it is required. Solution number 3, training and coaching. Every employee needs to be trained on the rules and regulations of the company and how to behave and act as an employee. And then the employee handbook can be used as a resource to do that training, either once or twice every year. That way the employee can know what the rules and the regulations of the company and make sure that they keep it. Number 4, performance improvement plan. If the employee is still performing below par, an performance improvement plan can be created by which the employee will be told what their deficiency is, what is expected of them, and how they need to meet up that expectation, and then a plan of when that will be implemented. It can be implemented between 30 and 90 days. If 30 and 90 days, the employee doesn't meet up to that obligation, then the company can fire that employee. Because at that time, the company will be legally justified in dismissing that employee as a result of that. So these 4 basic solutions, if applied, I believe very much can help to curb this problem and can help to put the company in a better light in the future. Thank you for listening.